Well, here I am with Tom McCamus and Evan Buliung. We're playing Jim Casey in Grapes of Wrath and Tom Joad, respectively. So, how are you?
Pretty good. We just finished rehearsal with you.
Yeah. Of course, there are two scenes that begin the play with these two characters. And the first one, they meet. And they've had a relationship before.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
I baptized him in an irrigation ditch. But I probably haven't seen him in an adult state. I haven't seen him. So we sort of reacquainted in that first scene.
And you're a preacher.
I was a preacher, as he says. He was a burning busher, but not no more. So he sort of had a crisis of conscience, and he's been out in the desert, so to speak, thinking about things. And now he's coming up with new ideas.
And there's been a big change in Tom Joad's life, too.
Yeah, Tom's just returned from 4 years in prison for murder. He's returned home to the family, and I think the major change will happen over the course of the play. He's just come home to sort of relax and kick back and enjoy all that Oklahoma has to offer.
Yeah, after 4 years in prison, you're going to get home, and it's a good life. Mm-hmm. That's not what happens, obviously. They come home, and home ain't no home anymore. No. It's interesting Steinbeck chooses two characters who are kind of extraordinary in a way, right? I mean, the ex-con and the ex-preacher.
Yeah. And people on the outside, they can make comments about what's actually happening. When you're actually in it, you know, you're just kind of going along day to day. So,
and it's a book that's about the vulnerable, the people who are dispossessed. There's a tendency for us to think that the world is, you know, vastly changed now, but so much of these situations seem to resonate for life for poor people today. We, early on, had some people in actually represent migrant workers. I mean, what struck you as you heard them speak about those conditions? Or?
Well, the fact that we don't really know about it here in Canada. It's sort of, as it was put, Canada's dirty little secret, right? That there's a huge amount of migrant workers who come to work our luscious fields to make Ontario grow and are not treated maybe as well as they should be in a country that touts itself as wonderfully as Canada does.
I think most people think of poverty as being a problem in another country.
Yeah.
You know?
Or a problem of the past. I mean, the economic situation these days, I think, is making people more aware of that, because I think everybody knows somebody who's suddenly lost a job and doesn't have what they used to have.
Steinbeck spent about 3-4 months during the winter of 37, 38, before he started writing the novel, helping these people who were in the rainy season in California without any homes, and apparently it was just horrific. Yeah. Which leads us to that final scene, which with the rain coming down. What do you think of the biblical allusions in this? It's very ripe, it's rich with all of this imagery from the Bible. I mean, do you find that part of your work as you're working on these characters?
Well, certainly for me, simply because, I mean, he was a preacher, as we say. His name is Jim Casey, which is JC, so there's a lot of that kind of, he represents, well, not necessarily religion, he represents spirit, and what is the spirit? Is it an institutionalized spirit, which is, you know, certainly religion, or is it spirit, which is the spirit of the people? So I think it's that kind of searching to find what truly is, trying to find if there's a difference between the human spirit and the Holy Spirit.
The human spirit, I think that's, like, we see it going on in the States right now, like, certainly in Wisconsin. And, you know, we're just the other day, the entire police force walked in and sat with the protesters.
You know, is that true?
Yeah, they went and sat down with them. And it is sort of the human spirit comes together in the form of union, right? And a collective of people getting together and say, we won't stand for something, or we will stand for something.
Well, you're making a good point. It's fantastic to be rehearsing this play during the revolution in Egypt, in Libya, and what happened in Tunisia. It's exactly that. It's people rising up and saying, from the grapes of wrath, saying we can't take this anymore. Yeah. The women's roles are also really examined in a kind of remarkable way in this work. Ma has so much strength and she turns into the real leader. Yeah. There's a kind of transformation of the power structure within the family and society as it goes on.
If they were forced to leave, then the power structure would be the patriarchal. The Pa would be the one, because he knows about the practicalities and stuff. But because that's gone, he doesn't know how to do with it. So she becomes, as they travel, because the the female spirit is maybe more adaptable to change or something. She talks about that, you know, whereas the male spirit's not quite, you know, I don't know what to do anymore, you know. So there's a bit of that. That's where she takes over just by, which is more, you know, natural, I guess, you know, it's Mother Nature, that kind of thing.
What do you think audiences will enjoy about this piece? Because on the one hand, you look at it and you think, my God, this is so depressing, you know, but it's such a depression play.
I think if you watch it with an open mind and open heart, you develop a real sense of gratitude.
And there's,
especially for where we
yeah,
live.
and there's unexpected, very human humor in it, and also then moments that just are very kind of simple and honest, and it's funny about that. So it's a bit of a roller coaster ride. I remember the first time that we did the last scene of the play. It was kind of devastating. This is the, you know, scene where Shalina breastfeeds the starving man, and it's a very unusual image. It was something, I guess, that he heard in a story, and he kept and kept for years, and then, you know, put it into this. But it's very powerful, and we're all a bit, you know, taken aback, stunned by it. I think in his way of writing something that's so almost like a documentary has gotten something that is very, very, very powerful.